The coalition of aggrieved customers of Men's Gold says it is skeptical about the defunct gold dealership firm's payment schedule issued last week to pay back locked-up investments. The group describes the plan as bleak. Men's Gold on December 15 asked the leadership of Customers Group to solicit inputs from disgruntled members aimed at working on modalities to pay back its investors. This was followed last week by a payment schedule and formula to pay customers from December 27 within a period of 3 years. Speaking at a just-ended press briefing, Chairman of the aggrieved customers, Timothy Binop, demanded Men's Gold withdraws the current payment plan and pay all customers in full before the end of the year.
We've seen the mode and payment plan of Nana Appiah-Mensah to be a fallacy. It is a bleak, and then we think it is never going to materialize. Nana Appiah-Mensah is saying that he's going to pay his customers from 2018 to 2013, which is never true. We only have 1 year to do business with Nana Appiah-Mensah. So if in case the company ceases to exist, it is only the customers are only captured in within 1 year period. And for that matter, we only have customers from 2017 to 2018. We don't have customers from 2016 to 2013. It is untrue, and it's just playing with our intelligence, which we customers will never allow that. If Nana Appiah-Mensah doesn't come out to address us to find amicable solution to this issue, we will chase Nana Appiah-Mensah to wherever he is and get our money.
Do you want the said payment plan withdrawn?
We want the said payment plan to be revised to include every or to favor every customer. We don't want in the situation where others will receive their money and others are not couldn't get their share in the first stance of the business. In the first stance of the business, we want a fair and equity thing of Nana Appiah-Mensah serving his customers. Customer has stayed for 1.5 years now, and you are saying you are paying them 3 years time. The 3 years, when you add 1.5 years, it's almost getting to 5 years. So why that? Why? Because Nana Appiah-Mensah, his tricks and then his smartness made us to understand that maybe his business was not genuine. It was not genuine. If the business is genuine, why is it that customers or the leadership of customers came out with a proposal that we all have a round table to discuss in order to make sure that all customers are captured and then get their fair share? And Nana Appiah-Mensah refused to attend to customers. We are demanding that Nana Appiah-Mensah pays us before the end of this year. On the 27th that he said he will pay, we want that payment. We want the modern payment plan that will start on 27th to capture every customer. He should make sure that he revises it and come out with an acceptable and favorable payment plan, so that every customer will have to get something home on the 27th.
Christmas.
Yes, it's affecting our Christmas. So we the customers are very ready. If from now to the 27th, if we doesn't see any revised payment plan, then we will chase him wherever he is for our money.
So it's that time of the year where we review performance of key sectors. Special Group Occupy Ghana has released its review of the year 2019. Key among issues stated are the Auditor General's disallowances and surcharges. I have been joined by my colleague Kojo Yankson with details of the statement. So what is Occupy Ghana saying?
Well, Darrell, it's a rather long chronology of 18 actions taken and statements issued throughout the year 2019. Now, they start and end these 18 points with their favorite pet project, the Auditor General's office. So they start off in the new year when they congratulated the Auditor General on the first ever special audit report on disallowance and surcharges. They noted that about 5.4 billion Ghana cedis of disallowances were issued, and he recovered, the Auditor General, about 67.1 million Ghana cedis in surcharges. They go on to talk about how in February, they are the ones who issued a statement demanding a commission of inquiry in the Ayawaso West Wuogon affair, and that following the work of that commission, they demanded that the government should either disband the National Security Force or obtain parliamentary approval for its existence. They went on in April. They talked about their disagreement with the senior minister, Yawasafo Mafu, who made some comments about the deportation of the Galamsea Chinese national Aisha Huang. They talk about how later in September, when the president finally expressed his own regret about Aisha Huang's not facing trial, they went on to state their view that government's justification and then condemnation, all by the same government, marks one of the lowest points for them this year. They talk about other issues. For example, in July, they joined most Ghanaians to question Parliament over its plans to build a new 450-seat chamber. And you remember how all of that sparked quite a bit of controversy. And then they demanded that assets and liabilities be declared by the over 40,000 public officers. Later, they talk about how they wrote a letter to the Attorney General stating their view that that 6-month extension given to officials was unconstitutional. There's so much more that happened in their year. For example, just recently, they reiterated the issue of the constitutional independence of the Auditor General and said that he must continue his exercise of the disallowance and surcharge powers. But they were also questioning why no one has been prosecuted for any of these issues.
Right.
Now, they summed up quite nicely with 2 demands. First of all, they said the Auditor General must present a full update to Ghanaians on the status of the high-profile corruption cases, the Attorney General, forgive me, high-profile corruption cases that are being investigated or prosecuted, including the status of recovery and enforcement of the Woyome and Asibit Abugapele cases. They also called for a full investigation into the alleged unauthorized development of a property at the airport residential area, which recently attracted some public ire when the Minister of Roads and Highways intervened and called for the arrest of some developers. They sum up by saying they believe their strength lies in the fact that their efforts are based on using primarily the law to enhance governance. They said they cannot take on every fight, but they don't even have the capacity to. They are just occupying their space and encouraging others.
And that's quite a tall list of things, fights they have undertaken this year. You know, Occupy Ghana itself has been under criticism that they have been silent with issues regarding governance in this country. So that's Occupy Ghana letting us in on what they've been able to accomplish so far in terms of getting government to be on its feet. We're back with more stories. Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has been touting the achievement of government at the NPP's annual delegates conference. Addressing delegates at the Trade Fair Center in Accra Sunday, Dr. Bawumia explained that the Akufo-Addo-led administration has instituted measures that have seen the improvement of Ghana's economy through the creation of jobs and automation of business transaction mechanisms. He said the suffering has been reduced by the NPP's great policy initiatives. Listen.
We told the people of Ghana that we are going to do three broad things. We are going to stabilize the economy, we are going to reduce the suffering of our people, and we are going to transform this economy into a modern, prosperous economy. This was our contract with the people of Ghana. Ladies and gentlemen, what a difference 3 years of good, effective leadership can make in a country. Because after 3 years in office, just 3 years, we can say without any shadow of a doubt that we have fulfilled at least 72% of the promises that we made to the people of Ghana. We have, and listen carefully, because some people didn't listen carefully. We have either delivered completely or we are delivering on 72%. And we are going to put the data out so that everybody will go promise by promise and see whether we are delivering or we have delivered. We'll put the data out. Because we have done the work, we have the data, so we'll put it out, and we will see when you count the amount of promises we have delivered or are delivering, we would have chalked at least 72%. That is remarkable for any government in its first term of office. Very remarkable. And thank you, Mr. President, for your leadership in this matter. Kukuru. So, how I said we are going to stabilize the economy, reduce suffering, and transform the economy. So how have we done this? Ladies and gentlemen, we have restored economic growth to this country. Ghana today is one of the fastest growing economies in the world for 2 years in a row. Agricultural growth is increasing 8.4%. Industry growth has moved from negative to positive. Inflation is on the decline, about half what it was when we came into office. Interest rates are on the decline. And exchange rate depreciation has been tamed. I know our opponents want to say that we have not managed the exchange rate. Well, but they just are not reading the data. If you look at the data, you will know that the government of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, when you look at the annual average depreciation of the cedi, since 1992, our government is the second best performing. The first is the government of President J. Akufo during 2005 to 2008. So we have seen an average annual depreciation of our currency of 8.7%. When NDC was in power between 2013 and 2016, average annual depreciation was 18%. We had 8.7, you have 18%, and you are telling us we cannot manage it well. You must be joking. You must be joking.
Well, my colleague Roland Walker was in town earlier to find out what members of the public make of the Vice President's declaration that the current government has managed the economy better than its predecessor.
The Vice President at the MPP's National Delegate Conference at a trade fair site on Sunday said the economy has been managed well by the Nana Addo-led government, and that has translated in positive inferences in the livelihoods of the ordinary Ghanaian. We're here somewhere at the Kwame Nkrumah interchange area to gauge the mood of the ordinary Ghanaian, trying to get some reactions to that statement by the Vice President. Indeed, if you look at the numbers, as we have been told not only by the Statistical Service, the Ministry of Finance, and also the Bank of Ghana, the numbers look good. But what can the ordinary Ghanaian say? Let me quickly just get some thoughts. Please, what's your name, sir?
My name is Richard.
What do you do?
I'm a surveyor.
You're a surveyor. Now, the Vice President made that statement. What would be your first reaction to that about the general, based on your perspective, livelihood of the ordinary person like you? in relation to how the economy has been managed and how it's reflecting in your livelihood?
The economy, I don't know whether it has to be, you see, the government should have to know what to do about it for us. And it's not good, it's not good at all. The economy is not good at all.
When the ordinary Ghanaian says that the economy is not good, what do you people mean exactly?
Things are not going on well. And when
we ordinary Ghanaians, we don't feel it.
We don't feel it in our pocket, in the sense that there's increment in taxes and other stuffs. But when you go deep into the system, what we earn is still what we earn. Okay, and with that, at the end of the day, the expenses still goes higher than what you earn. So at the end of the day, you don't feel it in your pocket.
What's your name, sir?
I'm Kenneth.
Ken, is it that perhaps maybe our...
They want to have the impact, but I think we've not seen that. So saying that the economy has improved, I think there is more to do than to just say
what type of work do you do?
I work at Cocoa Board.
Okay.
I'm at the research department.
Okay, so now it's good that you're a research person, but at the end of the day, when ordinary Ghanaians say we're not feeling it in our pockets, what is it that they don't, let's say the salary at the end of the day is not enough for an upkeep for the month or for the period that you've targeted, etc., or the prices that maybe are on the market of goods and services are high or are not moderate? Which one is it?
Yeah, I think the prices, because gradually prices are increasing and inflation is high.
As an ordinary Ghanaian, I don't think it has had any positive impact on me, because I'm not seeing anything and nothing has changed since they came. So,
is it that maybe you were expecting so much, and so maybe your expectations, because they were high, then your benchmark for marking them seemed to be above board?
My expectations were not that high. I was just expecting that the lives of ordinary Ghanaians would improve, and it looks like things are just the same. Yes, the policies are not benefiting those at the grassroots. Maybe it looks like it's just benefiting a group of people.
Economist Professor Godfrey Bokpin, speaking to me earlier on Newsday, said even though the economy has not fared badly, there's still a long way to go before the feel of the positive effect.
One can objectively conclude that government is on course, that it's made some progress in terms of the macroeconomic variables or indicators when it comes to maybe GDP, when it comes to inflation, when it comes to interest rates, that is also trending downwards. When it comes to exchange rates, of course, we have seen some volatility in the market. So broadly, in terms of the direction the economy has taken, then we can conclude with them that we as a country, we have made some progress. Then you can also look at the sentiment of ordinary Ghanaians, where the effect of these macro level gains largely have not translated to the micro to some extent, and then maybe the individual level. So those who are complaining, they also have a point. But can we ask for more within this short period of time? Maybe no. Maybe what we need to do as a country is to be able to build on the gains that we have made. Because what Ghanaians are asking for is not something that can be delivered within 3 years or 4 years, I think. Because when you look at the development literature and other countries that have made it, whether you look at Singapore or even when you look at Rwanda, which we seem to be talking about these days, I mean, when you take Kagame alone, he's been there maybe since early 2000. There is a certain sense that consistency is a requirement for broader economic gains to benefit low and moderate income earners and those who are not even in the formal employment or even the informal sector. So my understanding is that we've made some progress as a country, and I think when you look at the indicators, you have to be exceptionally unique to think that we are going backwards at the macro level. But we are also not there yet, and I believe that government honestly would also have to admit that in the face of the progress that they have made, there is still a lot that has to be done.
While away from the economy, the meeting between the Cybercrime Unit of the Criminal Investigations Department and the National Communications Office of the NDC, Sami Gyamfi, has been rescheduled. The CID on the 19th of December invited Sami Gyamfi over complaints made by the Jubilee House over an alleged cybercrime offense. But addressing the media, a lawyer for Sami Gyamfi, Victor Adaudu, said his client will return to the police headquarters tomorrow.
We have responded to the invitation of Sami Gyamfi. We've come to see the top echelon of the CID, and they have rescheduled the meeting to tomorrow at 11. They said because of some few circumstances, they will not be able to have the meeting. But we suspect and we know that because the president is coming here today, they don't want us to be here. So we have also agreed graciously that we will meet them tomorrow. They have invited us. We were here, we said 10:30, we were here by 10:15. And they went for a meeting. After the meeting, they told us that it will not be possible to have a meeting. Thank you.
Meanwhile, Sami Gyamfi, addressing supporters, said he will continue to avail himself for the police to carry out their investigation.
Toboy, Abusianfo, Asedana Medebema Munina, say, Maba Bijame, Maya Manayefe, Unyamisha Munina, a police if what to almost have friends say, Memebo Mo Mushimo, Yajemredi, Yashemrase, it's Yabase Yabeboamo. So most of my busy, I bet you are free. Na yako na emwa omo pe free ha no ye de ama omo ti ye be sere mo se mo be nya nto boase na yasre nyame nhia ne aseda kese ama mu nyina se maba why nti ye wa bibia ni aye no mo be dinko. I'm not speaking to the media, I'm just speaking.
So you had Sami Gyamfi speaking to supporters, saying that he will avail himself to the police for investigations and he will obey the laws of the country. Now, speaking to JoyNews, the NDC women's organizer, Hannah Bisu, described the president as intolerant and vindictive as they accuse him of engaging in political witch hunt against the NDC.
It's witch hunting. It's vindictive. The president is an oppressor. What is Metina to Ghanaians, the only thing that he's delivering so well, he has to oppress, prosecute, if not to persecute his political opponent. That's exactly what it is. There's no 1, 2, 3 way about it. That is it. President Nana Addo is very vindictive. He's intolerant. He cannot tolerate different ideas, different opinions. He can't. He doesn't tolerate multi-party democracy, the very democracy that brought him to the seat of government. He came with a ballot in one hand and then with a gun in another, because he's not leading, he's ruling, as though he came through a coup d'etat. That's exactly what is happening. He's oppressing the press, he's oppressing his political opponents. He doesn't want people to criticize him. You lie, you don't want us to call you a liar. You deceive us, you don't want us people to call you a deceit. So what does he want from us? We can't talk. He cannot also shut us. We not shut our mouth. We are not going to do that. He is a mouthpiece of the NDC. Sami speaks for the NDC. You called our chairman. It was Kokwenyi Doho. It was our chairman. They called Freddie Blay. He says to knock him. He doesn't appear. It means nothing. You call our chairman over some funny recording or whatever you called it. The very CID Tiwa, who also had the same thing, said her own was doctored. Now, the Osofu of President Nana Addo, Usubempa, came out and said he knows where the girls are. It's only the president who have him bring the girls. What happened to Usubempa? Nothing. He wasn't invited. Usubempa said he knows President Mahama was going to kill President Nana Addo, the vice, and so many people. Why didn't they invite him? So this one is called political witch hunting. The president is very vindictive. President Nana Addo, go to John Dramani Mahama, seek for free tutorials, how to govern, how to be tolerant, so they can have that big chest, that white chest of a good leader. Because see, a leader tolerates. You accept other ideas, you accept criticisms. You are closing down radio stations, you are closing down TV stations who are critics of your government. You don't want to be criticized, don't be in politics. You don't want to be criticized and do the right thing. We don't expect him to be perfect. but he had succeeded in failing successfully. That is exactly what President Nana has done. And the best thing he can do is oppress us. But our message to him is that our anthem says, Mr. President, that God should help us. We should be fearless and we should resist oppressors through. You are an oppressor, President Nana. You are intolerant. You are vindictive. And we will resist you per our national anthem. If you don't know, go and revise the national anthem. We will resist you. The only solution is a dead man that doesn't talk. You can send your police officers. Let them go to national headquarters. Let them spray all of us. Let them kill NDCs. Then you know you do not have political, we are not opponents. Now we are political enemies because you are treating us as enemies, and the same way you give to us in diplomacy, we shall also give it back to you, Mr. Terran President, Mr. Oppressor, Mr. Vindictive. This is a strong word.
In other news, the General Secretary of the Ghana National Association of Teachers, Nat Thomas Musa, has stated that it would not be cowed into leaving its core mandate of fighting for the best and rights of teachers in the country. He warned that the association will not back down until all their demands are met. Thomas Musa made the statement in a speech read on his behalf at a forum in Wa organized by the Upper West branch of NAT. JoyNews Upper West correspondent Rafiq Salam has more.
The industrial strike embarked on recently by 3 teacher unions, the Concerned Teachers Association of Ghana, National Association of Graduate Teachers, and the Ghana National Association of Teachers, may have been over, but for the latter, they will fight until what is due members is given to them. Speaking on behalf of the General Secretary of the Ghana National Association of Teachers, Nat Niba Isaac, stated that though the strike has been called off, they will not relent on their efforts in getting the best for their members.
We shall not back down till we meet all our demands. Don't be intimidated by any article or whatsoever.
He revealed that starting from next month, members of the association will have 12% upwards adjustment of their salary.
Next month from January, those who retire will also have upwards adjustment from the 2,000 Ghana cedis to 2,500 Ghana cedis as your exit benefit. This is just to see you off, but we'll continue to hold you and honor you as members. We are also considering extending our cancer fund facility to all retirees.
The forum organized by the Upper West branch of NAT is on the theme 88 years of NAT existence, its impact on members, GES, and the Upper West community. The total members of NAT in the country is pegged around 278,000. 9,000 of that number are in the Upper West region. A former municipal director of the Ghana Education Service, Hajia Fusata Hamidu, bears testimony to the positive contribution of NAT to education in the Upper West region.
NAT in the Upper West has helped the various municipal district offices in many ways, notably among these being financial support for purchase of fuel for monitoring our schools.
Let's take you to the Volta region next, where businesses along the Sokode stretch are on the verge of closing down due to the bad nature of the road. Shop owners say the delay in completing the 10.5-kilometer road is affecting their livelihoods and gradually plunging them into poverty. They are appealing to government to speed up works on the road to reduce the hardship they are forced to endure. JoyNews' Emmanuel Jivenu traveled to the area and reports.
This is the whole Sokode-Bogame road in the Volta region. Along this stretch holds the livelihoods of hundreds of residents. Mr. and Mrs. Ado ply their trade side by side on this stretch. The couple who operate spare parts and grocery shops continue to endure the brunt of terrible roads.
The number of clients we receive daily has reduced drastically. They have blocked the road here at this side. So no car is passing through this lane. They don't have parking place because where they are passing by car is very, very small. The one car stop here, you see the other one with bell, ping, 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 because the road is meaningless.
Mary Ado laments the dust from the road makes their goods unattractive to buyers.
If you are passing by car, you see the goods here, you will not even feel they are no more attractive because everything is dusty. You wake up in the morning, you clean about 30 minutes, then everything comes back to how it was before you made the cleaning. If you want to follow up, you'll be doing cleaning every minute till the end of the day.
Her husband, Julius Ado, reveals how numerous customers refuse to patronize spare parts from his shop.
You can't stay here and then buy. Even at all, if you touch the tinner, anything you touch here can make you that this place is dirty. So whatever you want here, you can't buy it. So rather to go to the town.
Many businesses along this stretch are also suffering from poor patronage, forcing some of them to fold up. Vehicles continue to break down and drivers visit the mechanic shop often for repairs.
Road has affected us to the extent that at times if it was raining time, you can't come here again because the road is not good. The road is so bad. So if you buy the shock, at times you work and the rest you send to shop, maintenance, a lot of maintenance.
Construction of a 10.5-kilometer Sokodeho dual carriage road project was awarded to Mercer's China Railways No. 5 Engineering Ghana Limited in 2016. But the 98 million cedi project stalled in September 2017 due to lack of funds. For now, contractors have resumed work and it is relieving to business owners. But residents fear the project may stall again.
We pray to God that as they have come back on the road, they are working. Sometimes in the night, you see them working. They are working very well these days, but they are not reliable. So we are just praying that they continue and they at least finish one side with the asphalt to minimize the dust and they make the transportation a little bit easier for the client to come back.
The works currently ongoing include construction of a median, culverts, drains and wearing of courses on sections of a road. As government declares 2020 a year of roads, it is the prayer of the Ado family and indeed several others for the whole Sokode-Gbogame stretch to be completed so as to have their daily bread restored. Emmanuel Givenus reports for JoyNews from Sokode-Lokwe.
Now, choral music remains a very useful tool in the development of many economies around the world. In the U.S., for instance, the sheet music industry is worth about $1 billion, but same cannot be said of Ghana, despite many talented composers it can boast of. In our latest Hotline documentary, Hymns and Harmonies, renowned composer and music lecturer Professor Ken Kafui attributes the removal of music from the school curriculum as one of the factors bedeviling the growth of the genre.
Arguably, his most popular composition, Midday was first performed at the Achimota School where he was a music teacher.
In Achimota, Achimota follows King College's procedure. Nothing is announced. You only look at your program, you know the next piece, the conductor, the composer's name is also there. So in 1989, I started composing for the first one. That's when I composed Midday, ta ta da da ta ta ta. And there is always a little history about that. When I composed the music and I was teaching the choir, they said, the language is too difficult. No, Mr. Caffrey. So if I asked them to come for the exams, some of them were not coming. But 6 people learned the song. And when the others heard it, they all rushed. Mr. Caffrey, please, the song is so beautiful, we all learn it. They learned it. Then they said, Mr. Caffrey, are we going to perform this for the festival? I said, no, because of what you did. Oh, my students were very sad. They all came to apologize. So we sang Midday for the first time in Achimota School. The following year, I composed Kafui. Some time ago, in the, I think, in the 80s, late 80s, when the SSS program started, they stopped music. It was no more compulsory. It was just an elective, even up to now. So that there are a lot of talents people who have the talent of music, yet they have to go and study science or something else. So that is number one. The appreciation also came down because schools were not studying music. Now, number 2 is that government doesn't see any economic importance of music in Ghana, whereas a lot of countries make money from music. And then the other thing is that our copyright recognition, it was the Musiga. I think they did their best, but it should have been the country should have protected our works, but it became an individual kind of thing. So our works are not protected, and that's the problem we have. For example, if you take football, the country spends so much money on football. If government wants to spend money on music, they will not spend even a quarter of what they spend on football, but gain more money.
Don't miss our hotline documentary at 8:30 p.m. Later in the day. Well, up next is business. Government is urging more private sector participation as it undertakes the Airport City 2 project. Charles Aite will have details right after this break.